All right, hey there, everyone. Sorry about that little hiccup a second ago. Didn't quite have all the right buttons clicked. But welcome to our first raging recap for campaign two.
Campaign two.
We've got Dave, aka Harmon Rab, and Mark, aka Rafeli de Roxo, and myself, Jez.
Ray for short. Ray for
Jez playing
short.
Hector Hargraves. How are we doing, guys?
Love it. Yeah, good.
Who now that we've seen the art for Rafe will lay down his life.
Yeah. Some pretty sweet art you got going.
Yeah, I like it. A bit of an aged dude, a little bit jaded, but still trying to sell stuff. That's his jam.
Yeah.
Bit of a tinkerer.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to how that tinkering camp should be fantastic.
Yes, it really will. I've already got a few things in mind, especially when it comes to potions and things. And one of the cool things that Hector can do is build like a little machine. I guess animal friend. What do they call it? Like a fine. Yeah.
Like a familiar.
Yeah, familiar. That's the one. But I just need to get the right materials and components to make that happen.
Sweet. Is that like a harvesting process? We got to go kill some things, or is that more just a buying?
No, I think it's just more buy materials. Yeah, just go shopping.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sweet. Should we do a quick
And
roll
what's the
call on the
mechanics?
characters before we get too deep?
Do what, Dave?
Who is? I was going to say, should we do a little bit of a roll call on the characters? Tell us a little bit about your tinkering madman.
My tinkering madman, Mr. Hector Hargraves, hails from a different continent and is on a quest that has, I guess he's discovered his master that ended up just dying of old age, left behind his journal, which I actually have in physical form, and it's friggin' amazing.
Look at that.
It's
Now,
amazing.
where did you get that from? Because you showed us a picture previously, and that is just good.
It's just from Amazon, man. You can find them on Etsy as well. I found the link somewhere. It was on the D&D group on Facebook or something. But yeah,
Good. I'd love to see. Like similar to your world building. I'd love to see like talking through some of his discoveries and as he's going through the journal, the things he's understanding. That'd be really cool, I reckon.
That's an awesome idea. I might have to give that a crack. But yeah, so Hector has found.
I'd like to see a couple of sketches in there.
Well, we'll see. It's kind of where I want to get it to be like
for a whole bunch of shit.
I know a little bit of like I want to make it like a mishmash hybrid of Hector's thoughts as we go through the campaign and also what he's discovered from or what he's making sense of from the notes.
Yeah.
But also I don't want to stuff it up.
Have it as like a really sweet artifact for the campaign too.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, he's found this little hook in this book of his masters, and he's trying to unlock whatever it is, the secret behind it, understand more about it, and become the world's greatest alchemist.
Love it.
How about the doctor?
The doctor. So Harmon Rab, or Dr. Harmon Rab, or Harm, as he's affectionately known by his deity. Anubis, the god of murder. He's an interesting dude. So he's really just been kind of, when the crystal occurrence all happened, kind of just got pulled into this, celestial plan that's being played out by Anubis. He was like a regular dude, just helping people pass over. And then one day he, after the crystal occurrence happened, he realized he could kind of steal a bit of that life essence. And he got whispered to. Anubis knew his real name, which is kind of a big deal for him. And so he's just been training. He's been training with one of the local orders of Anubis, and he met Raycon there, another Death Domain cleric. So there's a cool little tie into our backstories where we've just been hanging out for a couple of years, training together, and he's a little bit more established than I am. He knows a little bit more. He's been doing a bit longer, so you'll see that dynamic come out a little bit as we go through, but you'll also see a little bit of shenanigans come out. As you might remember back when we were playing some some fighters with the soldier background in was it House of
Death House.
Strahd. Death House for Strahd. And we had the shenanigans of, hey, remember that time on the battlefield? Well, it's gonna be a little bit
amazing.
A little bit of that happening. Might be some dude where's my car style things going on. Maybe a little bit of Top Gun, right? And looking forward to it. But the idea is that he's a very physical dude, right? So he's a very, very physical dude. So there's going to be a lot of interesting ways to play a cleric. And he's playing that kind of like vampiric touch, taking your life essence. So it's going to be a lot of shoving, taking people to ground, a lot of grappling. It's going to be very helpful for anyone who's nearby with a physical weapon, I reckon. Might be tough in certain situations if there's like a lot of range, try to hit that same person. But yeah, he's going to be an absolutely like grappling machine.
The fighter's going to love that. Before we head over to our Tabaxi fighter friend, as in me, what's the story? And I don't know how much you want to get into, but was Osiris also of a bit of a death tilt, but it's gone from helping people pass over to murder?
Yeah. It was a bit of more of just like a generic, grave domain, which is more the sanctity of death. So that helping people pass over, but then they stay dead. Whereas the death domain is a bit more of the like murder, taking the life. But you'll often see that the death domain is played as a bit of an evil character, right? He's a murderer, obeying the god of murder. Whereas the way I'm trying to play Rab or Harm is going to be a little bit more like he's obedient. So even if there's someone that he potentially doesn't want to kill, he's going to be obedient to do what he's told by his deity, because he's he's got a lot of respect for a deity who knows his real name and the power of what that can bring. So,
is Robin going to be governing a lot of that deity interaction?
Yeah.
Or will you be siphoning or creating that story?
So a little bit will just be like role play as we go through. I've kind of added this item that I've got as a book of names with lots of names scratched out, so different people I've killed over the years. And I just want to have this fun little thing of just asking people's names all the time and kind of opening up my book and checking it out, right? And then neither like saying it's in there or not in there type thing.
You did that during episode 1, I think, and it was unsettling to say the least. Just no, okay. What was that? Huh? No, nothing.
I don't want it to be like he's this spooky, mysterious, guy. I want it to be like, what happens if he loses his book? Is his god going to be upset with him, right? What happens if someone pilfers it? What happens if he leaves it somewhere? What happens if it's in a rucksack and it gets stolen? There's all that sort of. I want that human side of him to come out still, that he can still make mistakes or. But I feel like it's going to open up a lot of cool little role play things around, if he actually gets the final blow on people when they die. And I'm going to give Robin like a general way of how I want people to die, and let him kind of just open up his role play onto that, how he describes somebody dying. So, yeah.
Tattoo the names all over your chest and you've got it.
I mean, that could be a punishment. He might, if he loses the book, maybe he gets punished for having them tattooed on him. That would be awesome.
I wonder if people can spend rage points or a subscription to get their name tattooed on your chest.
That would be awesome. Might have to update my character art request, right?
We could stick you in a hot tub.
Exactly.
Write names on you.
Oh man!
I don't know if that will get us subscribers or lose us subscribers. If I'm topless in a hot tub, then we are definitely getting kicked off Twitch. That's all I'm saying.
I was wondering, Dave, is any of Harm's traits, characteristics, whatever, based on Zim? Zim ended up having a bit of a soul sucker type ability.
He did. That was very coincidental.
Okay.
Very coincidental. It did open me up to understand the necrotic kind of side of the wizard a little bit. But this idea to kind of Arcane 2 came a little bit more naturally. And I almost went down that Necrotic Wizard stage, but I couldn't work out how to do it in a way that I really wanted to. I didn't want to just play wizard after wizard. I wanted to have more of a touch of the deity inside of it. And that's why I thought the cleric would be a great way to do it. Yeah.
And it's interesting that we have a second Death Domain cleric, and that you guys are buddy-buddy. Do you know if Rod is playing Rhea slightly differently?
Yeah, we haven't gone too deep into that in offline chats yet. We had our session 0 that was a great catch up and sort of walkthrough for everything, but Rod couldn't make that, so I didn't get to hear as much about his backstory there. But at the same time, I've actually got a couple levels in fighter already, so that's where I get that grappling and that kind of that really physicalness to it. So I'm playing less of a straight out magic and more of a, right in there in your face. So that's where things like the touch distance spells are going to be a big thing that I'll do. So
Cool.
yeah, interested to see how Rod plays, but I think he's more pure cleric. So I think he'll be more spell casting, and I'm not sure because Rod's pretty unique in the way he role plays. So I'm interested to see how he's going to actually pull that up.
Cool. Let's hear from Mark about Rafe.
Rafe's a concept I've been toying with for quite some time. I think we've brought Tabaxis to Death House and a couple of the arena one-shot type things. But in a household of 3 cats, it just felt like it needed to be done.
Yeah.
It looks like you're looking at your cat background.
Looking at the cat. Yeah.
Yeah, we've seen Mike bring a few different Tabaxis and do different one shots and things. So I think it's really cool that you're bringing the Tabaxi into the full campaign.
Sorry about that. The wife didn't realise we were having a chat.
At least you didn't turn the neutral bullet on, mate. That's all.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is she planning on pulling any teeth out live?
But no, I've been toying. She could do it. She could. Just lose Dave. We lost Cameron.
No. We've lost you a little bit, mate. Jez and I are good.
Okay, I think something's going on with my network tonight. Now that Rafe is a concept I've been kicking around for a little while. Really liked the idea of the dex-based fighter, and that worked really well with the Tabaxi concept. So really drawing quite heavily from like Oberyn Martell from Game of Thrones, the really flashy, pulling off the dance moves almost, as opposed to more of a strength-based fighter. I was initially going down a little bit more of the swashbuckler rogue, kind of toying with that, but I figured I can actually still roleplay some of the characteristics there without necessarily needing to fill it into the, draw upon the actual, not backstories, but the class or subclass. So it was just after a little bit of that magic part that a rogue could open up. But then I think Dan played a Rune Knight at one point. And that
I remember it as being
opened up an option that I'd never, I liked the idea of in a land that hasn't had magic for quite some time. How do you build magic into the fighter concept? And all of a sudden it sort of opened up this. As soon as he played that, it sort of clicked that that's what I want to do. I want to have these runes that I can inscribe on my armor, on the shield, on the weapons, and they just mix things up a little bit.
And what's going to be cool with that, Mark, is that my artificer is all about infusing items with magic. So I'm happy to create, or Hector will be happy to create a rune for whatever you want.
Sweet.
Very cool.
So look, it means I get some control over the runes because there's a very specific set of things I'm allowed to do there. I think there's like a frost rune, which gives you both a general perk and then somewhat an offensive and defensive perk. And then there's a fire rune, which also has similar properties. And I think there's a suite of 5 to 7 runes. I've got to double check them, but over the number of levels that I gain, I can add a couple of runes. It's not an outlandish amount. So I'm hoping for a little bit of flexibility, and particularly if you can infuse weapons as well, they can sort of have that double perk aspect to them.
Yeah. It's something I'm really interested in get stuck into, but again, I got to find some material components.
Yeah.
And look, I had a lot of fun with that DM Nat 20 that hit me in the combat with the 2 wolves. Yeah. And I think it's one of the frost runes has this ability to basically redirect that damage to some other entity on the playing field that's not you.
That's awesome.
It's like and it doesn't have it doesn't have to hit me, it can hit anyone. So particularly if they're getting some of the spongy rocks or the I'm assuming you guys are not heavily stacked with HP.
No.
Can sort of redirect that.
So it's you can redirect anything on the field. Is that a bonus action if it's, for instance, not your?
It's a reaction, and
reaction
is once per short rest.
Okay,
yeah, it's a decent range.
Yeah,
I get a lot of stuff back on a short rest, which is great.
Cool.
And that they also scale with levels as well, so I might be able to do it twice. Say. I'm a little cautious with this idea of the fighter. Like, I liked the magic option that this opened up. It was really cool. But a lot of the fighter mechanics are like baked into the original fighter classes.
Mm-hmm.
Battle Master, the number of maneuvers that you can open up there sounds cool. So at this stage, I like what I've done. I'm a little cautious that it's one very particular path and a non-traditional fighter. I'm just going to have to wrap my head around some of those capabilities. But that'll be fun.
At what level do you get a crit on 19?
That might not even be a thing. So that might be one of the Battle Master perks.
Yeah, I think you get those at level 3 potentially, or level 5 if you're going down the full fighter path.
Yeah, one of those two.
Yeah,
and I think you have to pick it not as a feat. I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Picking it as a maneuver. You pick it as a maneuver.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it.
And basically, there's a long list of maneuvers, and this is where you get a huge amount of flexibility in the fighter class. But for everything you pick, you're excluding 20 other cool things.
Yeah.
That's if you're going down the Battle Master. There's a number of other fighter subclasses. There's Eldritch Knight, which was a little bit magic-y, but it was a little bit au natural.
I think we've got a little bit of help from the chat there, level 5, they think, from the chat. Cheers, team.
Thank you. But no, this new subclass out of, I forget if it's Tasha's. I think it's a Tasha's subclass. It just seems like a fun spin on the fighter.
Yeah.
That should be cool.
Jez, did you go to the vault there? You've got about 9 books in the background.
I did dig into the handbook here, but I couldn't find it fast enough, so I just gave up on it. I could see that I did spot. Oh, I can't find it again. Here. The martial archetypes.
That's it.
Yeah, the champion gets a crit on 19 at 3rd level.
There you go.
Yeah, and the Battle Master has all sorts of different maneuvers and things in combat superiority.
And then you get Eldritch Knight for magic.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, my grappling techniques all come from my maneuvers that I've got superior technique maneuver. So it does allow for a lot of flexibility, which is really cool.
Yeah.
I have no maneuvers as my little artificer, but I do have a sneaky tattoo which I've managed to acquire.
Oh,
Which
I like it.
Help with some grappling.
Is this like a sneaky tattoo? Is it like a butterfly on the lower back? Is that what you want?
I haven't even pictured
Yeah,
what it
where's-
would look like yet, but probably not a
Where's your
butterfly
stamp?
on the back.
Where's Hector's stamp tramp?
Yeah.
But maybe not. I have to figure out a way to what it looks like. But yeah, I'm keen to see how that's going to come off. One thing that I was thinking about as we're going into session 0 and even before that, as we're all getting our character art done and starting to spitball who's doing what, I was thinking, shit, we do have a lot of spellcasters, and thank God Mark went for a melee
Fighter.
weapon fighter. Otherwise, we could all just be very squishy.
Mm.
Have you got a few
Yeah.
hit points under your belt there, Mark? Is he keeping really still?
I think
He's
I'm at
frozen.
29.
Okay, good start. Good start.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not too bad. Look, I must admit, I'm gonna miss. I think that paladin aspect of being the hard hitter, but in being able to choose. Oh, in this moment, I'm gonna down and add some smite to that. So
Yeah.
that's and also having that role as the healer. Or secondary healer. We had a cleric that was their main job. But at least I could still charge around the battlefield and sort of bring people back up again. So I'm a little bit worried for this campaign. Though we've got two
Multiple clerics
focused
in range of
figures.
the.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean the thing is, I don't know if Raycon is going to be a ranged, more spell focused. He could be healing on the back lines, and Harm could be up the front, healing in the front lines. So
I can't see Rod being backliner.
we'll see how he goes. But I mean, it really comes down to how he's focused. If he's got touch spells, yeah, sure, he's going to be out the front. If he's got range on him, right, then he's going to have an opportunity to hang out a little bit, maybe dart in and out. But I mean, that's the beauty of this now, right? We've got a little bit of time under our belt. We've got an idea of how we want to play these characters, and now we've all got +1 weapons as a starting point. That is a big way to start.
What a way to kick off session
That feels
1.
like a real gimme. I was expressing to Robin a little bit afterwards. It feels very, very generous. So what else is he going to throw at us?
Yeah, I feel like he's going to throw monsters that need +1 weapons. Is what I feel like we're going to get.
Oh yeah, I was I really thought that the center chest when we got to that circle was just going to be another trap or a mimic or something like that,
mimic?
but
Yeah.
had to play the character.
Yeah. You reach out to touch it, it eats your hand.
Yeah, but +1 weapon straight off. And in fact, what was awesome is that like they worked out to be like one for each person, and they all suited each person's character, except maybe mine. But that's
Except maybe
okay.
one trident.
Who?
Yeah, except the trident.
Yeah.
Maybe though. I mean, there's a bit of roleplay there. Maybe you could. Hector could actually have a look and maybe tinker with the ring and make it something a little bit more personalized.
Maybe. Oh, I forgot they were actually rings.
So
Yeah.
then that's really cool. It actually works well for me because I was trying to work out how I'm going to drop my weapon and then go into like grapple and then jump out of grapple and pick up my weapon really quickly and all this sort of stuff. So I'm excited that it's going to be kind of like this opportunity to kind of like just grasp my hand together into a fist.
Summon it.
It feels like we're what was the cartoon characters that had rings? Was it Captain Planet?
Yeah.
Captain Planet.
Earth. Fire. Wind.
A couple of locals in the chat tonight. Fantastic to see you. Izzy, Inflatable, Super Dan.
Hey guys.
Thanks for
Okay.
joining.
Nefties, hope to see you regularly, mate. Be great to have you on board all the time.
Would love to hear from those people that watched session 1, what they thought, where they think the campaign might be headed. Who's your favorite character? That's not a cat, because that's not fair.
Speaking of firsts, I would love to just digress out of the campaign. We'll come back to it in a moment.
Okay.
But Dave, Mark, how have you found the switch from Platform A to Foundry?
Yeah, Mark and I greatly differed on our appreciation of Platform A. And I was a big fan. I loved playing in that platform. I enjoyed every inch of it. I worked out how to feel comfortable with it and went hardcore. I had a different experience to Mark, though. What was your
Burn it
experience,
to the ground.
Mark? To the ground.
You guys are just talking about the character sheet mechanics, though, right? At the moment.
No, I'm just talking about it in general.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
The platform that shall not be named.
Not a
Well,
fan.
the platform we will name, let's give it some airtime. So Foundry, loving it.
Yeah.
Loving it. I'm loving the visualization, the lights, the line of sight type things.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah. Just little things like being able to,
Macros.
the macros are really cool. Yeah.
So basically, you guys can hotkey, most of your weapons. If you've got some spells, you can add them as a second tier. There's no necessarily having to go to your character sheet and go, I find the thing and I clicky. They're just in a bunch of slots at the bottom, and you roll for it. I like the fact that you roll, you invoke a weapon, say, and it'll do both the attack roll and the damage.
Yeah.
If someone
really cool.
casts something, then you
Have your whiz save or whatever it is in the chat, right?
Yeah. So it takes a bit of thinking out of the equation.
Yeah.
And just visually, it's...
I am going to miss one particular thing, and I don't know that anyone can... I don't know that I'll allow you to contradict me here, but I'm going to miss Robin's last-minute map creations. Okay, guys, we're at a place with a thing. Here is 3 oblongs. Get creative in your own brains.
Theater of the mind.
Theater of
It
the
was
mind.
amazing. It was amazing.
So, I must say, though,
Quality's gone through the roof.
missed that last thing. Sorry, Mark, what was that?
Production quality's gone through the roof.
It really
Through
has.
the roof, yeah, 100%. And I know he's super psyched for this. This is his campaign, right? And I think that Foundry's offering him a huge opportunity to really play out what he's been thinking about for a long time, and give him a super awesome opportunity to kind of really own that and give us a really good insight into what he's been creating.
Yeah, definitely. And it does add a bit of extra overhead to his prep for sure, if he has to try and have the maps ready to go for wherever we may end up, which was not the case with the previous campaign, Waterdeep, because we went just wherever the hell we wanted to go.
We went to making Voltron style, not Voltron itself, no copyright, but Voltron-esque, Voltron style robots in the middle of a campaign that crushed half a city. So we went places, telling
We
you.
did. That was amazing. So Foundry goes all right. I'm personally still struggling a little bit, which how to get around from, inventory through to how do I do an attack here and there. There's a few different things to navigate, which I had sort of eventually worked out in the previous system. But I think it's just a few extra clicks, getting used to it, and I think it'll be fine.
And I mean, we did Honey Heist, and then we had a little play around in our session 0, and then we've had campaign 2, session 1. That's it. So 3 very short sessions to kind of play around with it and understand the basics. But this campaign's got some legs, I reckon. So we'll have plenty of time to get used to it.
100%.
I must admit, I will miss using D&D Beyond primarily. It's not necessarily a plug, but for me, having a lot of the character sheet in there and doing clicky from within D&D Beyond, it would lock in it would consume spell slots. If there was a thing that you could only do once per short rest and you used it marked it as used. So just wrapping my head around how Foundry's going to interpret that.
And Foundry has that. I've seen that sort of stuff. There are the tick boxes for that. It's more around how we find what we want to do and then execute on it. I think it'd be cool. Maybe it's an opportunity once we work it out, run a stream, get a Foundry 101, show them a little bit of love for the love we've seen from them. So that might be something cool to do.
Yeah,
very cool tool. If you want to lift your tabletop experience virtually, Foundry.
And we know that another big supporters of the stream, the Nat 30s, Foundry users as well. See great success there from Izzy and the crew.
Yeah, they put us onto it, right? And with the success they've seen with it and how much they've adopted it and loved it, we're just like, yes, we'll try that, thanks, and it's been awesome.
Yeah. Hey, back to the maps for just 1 second. I loved Robin's map. He had the spear and the hammer, sword and the hammer thing going on.
Yeah.
I thought that was cool. Did we move a bit slow, do you reckon? Did we get
Yeah.
stuck talking about fermented goat's milk and leaving a keg here, and we missed that action, that quick let's jump on something and go earn a few coins for this dude with the guns. Um, yeah, I think
did.
Robin had to move us along a little at the end.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we did fluff around too much at the start, but I think overall, maybe Robin expects us as a group to move too quickly, especially when there's 8 of us now.
I think the big challenge there is, at the end of the day, it was session 1. You've got to come up with a coherent reason for why 8 mostly strangers or loose. There's a couple of people pairing off, but how do we go from 0 to hey, you're now a party?
Yeah.
And actually having people pair off made that work a little bit easier, I guess, because then you could draw people in groups.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy with how that played out, and that there's no real reason tying us all together, but I think it was nicely done having Nick, who's playing Flint Wolf, as one of the party members is the one with the hey, I've got the first quest. So people can kind of rally around that a bit, and it's an interesting first thing to do as well. It's not just picking things off a job board. It sounded genuinely
well, we've hit ring 1, right? And we've made a pretty solid attack on ring 1. Now we've got a tie into ring 5 as well, and we've got a little bit of backstory around what's going on in this world that we've entered into. And look, I'm keen. I like the premise. It was pretty tight-lipped around what was going on, and so I'm keen to hear a little bit more about this play out. And I've been, like you said before, the mind's theater, right? I've been trying to work out in my brain how we do things and what this looks like and what the adventure is. But I'm excited. I think from hearing a little bit more now in session 1, episode 1, it was actually really cool.
I think Robin did an awesome job of setting it up in session 1. You think about how is a good story told with a massive start. We have a hook. We have a bit of an understanding of what's going on. We have, like you said before, or maybe it was you, Mark, that the fact that Flint had the first quest was an awesome setup, and even how the little nugget he dropped in there during character intros, where he made Nick do that role play on the hawk or the falcon or whatever it was.
Yeah,
that was great.
I loved it. It was great.
So he certainly set us up for a lot of interesting things to come.
Yeah, I'm excited to see a few of the supporters integrating it into the story as we go. Already had Inflatable Cat appear.
Yes,
as familiar of our local barkeep, which is kind of cool. I hope maybe he makes an appearance later on as well. That'd be kind of cool. And there's a few others that are great supporters of the chat as well. DM Adam, another good one that's we haven't seen on tonight, but he's another regular. And looking forward to see how he gets integrated in, because I know that's one of the things we're keen to do is help our supporters be a part of the story we're telling.
Yeah, it's a group effort, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know what I found really, I loved how in our first 15 minutes we have already a running gag for the rest of the campaign with the fermented goat's milk. The drunk cat drunk on fermented goat's milk.
Love it.
And the fact that it's already kicked off a few extra jokes is going to be amazing.
Yeah.
So
keen to see how the Tabaxi 9 Lives plays out as well.
Yes, and always landing on my feet, even when I'm drunk. And look, when we were speaking, sorry, I had to step away then. But when we were speaking about the party coming together, I didn't want to play too much onto just cat themes like milk and scritches and belly rubs and landing on feet. But the whole goat's milk thing, I semi like that's become a joke straight off the bat.
Yeah.
And I liked the idea of making it work to make Rafe a bit drunk, and
Yes.
falling over himself a bit, and being a little bit loud and obnoxious, and that sort of helped drew the two parties to be
Parties
central.
together. Yeah.
It just needed that coherent kickoff that everyone could finally rally around. Here's the Flint Jones Wolf story. Let's go. But unexpectedly, Goat's Milk has now become a
Well, do you
running-
feel like maybe
running joke.
we've got a little bit of a theme going on? Because last time we had rotten carrick mush that was used as an aphrodisiac was one of our ongoing jokes for a while there. Spoiled food seems to be something that we keep bringing up as a crew. Maybe there's some underlying, resentment of chefs or something like that from some of our party members.
Look-
Maybe Robin is, wishes he was an amazing cook, and it's been, just something that's fishing around in his head that he keeps bringing up.
I didn't expect those to form in session 1.
Yeah.
Now, how long they last, I don't know, but something tells me this has become a thing.
I just can see that every tavern or inn or whatever these characters enter, we'll be like, beers, fermented goat's milk.
Yeah.
That's going to be the thing.
I feel like
we
it's going to
can- we
be
can
a really
explore.
big part.
We can try some whiskeys. We can try some beers, and we'll see if they take, or if it doesn't disagree. Or sorry, if it disagrees terribly with my feline disposition.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I can see it's like we get to the end of the campaign, we're up against like the big bad, and there'll be some sort of like psychic attack, and anyone who's been consuming the fermented goat's milk is immune or something. And as inflatables thrown in the chat there, it'll be like, you'll have a little tub of strumming in your backpack and pull it out, and we're all gagging trying to get it down as we all take any psychic damage or something from the big bad. Right, and that like one little thing in the first round will be what helps us over the line at the end.
we shall see.
Speaking of strumming, I once went to a filming of QI when I was in London, and got to hear, I think it was direct from Stephen Fry, say that once they had that on set, and they were explicitly told, like, you cannot open this tin, do not pierce the tin, do not do anything, because that's like, it will clear everyone out, and we will lose the rights to use the Channel 4
Studios.
set. Yeah.
Yeah.
And it was that slightly bulging, like, very clearly, do not open this tin.
Do you know what I love about Robin is he'll turn Sir Strumming into like a smelly bard that we have to interact with some point down the line as well.
Sir Strumming.
Sir Strumming.
Bard.
It's isn't a relatively recent thing I've seen pop up, this strumming stuff.
It's been around for a while. I mean, I think it's a long-term delicacy from Scandinavian. But I remember one of the main radio stations that have 3 letters in their name, triple something, in Sydney. Had it years ago. They did it they did it outside somewhere, and I think they had all three of the hosts throwing up in a park wherever they were having it, because they didn't do it in the studio. They did it at the park, and I think all 3 of them threw up before they even had a piece to taste.
I know Hamish and Andy have done it on one of their travel things, where it's the I buy you some hideous food.
You have to eat it, yeah.
And you got to eat it. So worth googling YouTube. Hamish and Andy strumming, and I don't know how to write it. Enjoy.
What do we think of, speaking of Sir Strumming and how we got there? I have no idea. But the first NPC we met in the tavern, Mr. Philly George.
Bartender.
How do you
Philly
feel about
George.
not knowing how we got there? Because that's how Robin feels permanently trying to DM for this group.
It's okay getting there, but it's like, okay, I don't know how we get back.
Yeah.
I
Georgie,
can't
interesting
wait.
bloke.
I can't wait to meet him again on a return journey. I like that we've baked in some reasons to return. So Flint's got some books that he's leaving with there, and now we've got the goat's milk with an anchovy fermenting in it. But that's going to be really fun to sort of come back to, play on that for a while. He does have the inflatable cat
Familiar.
tender.
Mm-hmm.
Familiar? Yep.
Yeah, I think the Chili Weasel is going to be a very much a recurring place to visit.
Well, I was going to say we had the Winchester hub in campaign 1, and maybe we didn't make enough of that. Maybe we were focused on other things, and we never really got the role play into turning that into like a usable space, or something that made us money, or turned some industry and turned it into something that could help us in the campaign. I wonder if maybe Robin's realised we're all about getting out there and doing some crazy things, and he's given us the Chili as a little bit of a home base that can operate around us a little bit, maybe giving us a little bit of a helping hand, rather than leaving it up to us and watching us just upset Dennis and then burn down the place in campaign 1.
Yes,
Because
but
we shouldn't burn it down if we don't own it.
yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, yes, but I think I can see as Chili Weasel being a place we return to a lot, but Trencastre is a big place, right? It's way bigger than Waterdeep, so I don't know how frequently we'll be able to get back there.
Well, I mean, can you tinker anything that'll help us move between places very quickly? Is that the sort of
Not
thing
yet.
you can organize?
I can certainly try if I can,
I'm just saying, in a
high
homebrew
enough.
world, you can homebrew some cool things. I've already started writing down my ideas of what Hector might be able to make for me.
Oh yeah, excellent. Put
Yeah,
your
yeah.
orders in.
Put my order in. I'm thinking as I get to go, Mark.
Yeah.
I was just going to say, as I get into as I start getting into the actual vampiric touch type things, I might put an order in for Hector. So if I'm at full health and I do a vampiric touch and take some life force, I might be able to put that into an amulet and have like a minor health amulet or something like that, where if I can fill it up and top it up if I hit my maximum points, and then do something vampiric touch and take some life essence. So something like that. Something like that might be interesting to sort of play out with you. And if you nat 20 all of your tinkering rolls, maybe it's not just a small one, maybe it's a bigger one or something.
Yeah, I feel like we can come up with some really crazy shit and just watch Robin cringe, and then just make it happen.
And Flint's weapons, can't wait to see what happens there.
Yeah.
Some sort of gyro, so if he does a 360 and no scope, it's a automatic crit or something once per long rest. Yeah.
We'll see. I'll need some people to tell me how to get creative, because I struggle a little bit, but I'm sure we'll figure it out.
Love it.
Are there many rules in terms of what you can alchemist up? Like, is there a set list of stuff you can do, or
it's
and it grows
fairly
over time?
loose. So there isn't a list of like, here's the concoctions you can brew. One of the things I can do once per day is basically brew one of 6 different potions, which is how Flint got a potion of flying. I don't even know if I need ingredients for those things. I think I do. But then there's the equipment, the alchemist supplies, which you'd think would give you the ability to brew health potions and this, that, and the other. But in what Xanathars says is it really only gives you the ability to brew 2 different things, right?
Okay.
Which doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So I found some extra homebrew stuff on, what kind of things would an alchemist supplies kit actually make sense for you to be able to brew with different DCs and stuff attached to it, with health potions being one of them. So I want to run that by Robin to see what he thinks, because otherwise I think the alchemist supplies ability is quite limited.
Yeah. Hey, if you're in chat at the moment, let us know in chat what you think would be a cool thing to be able to brew up, or maybe an interesting potion you've seen come into a game. That'd be cool. Maybe we can bend Robin's arm. It's kind of cool in this homebrew. He's already shown very quickly that he's interested in making it, a very magical place. Right. So if session 1 has +1 weapons, can't see what we get in session 3, maybe +3 rings or amulets or something. So there we go.
+3 rings, wouldn't that be amazing?
Tobacco didn't even exist in this world, and I think Robin saw how keen I was to play one, and all of a sudden we've got the option opening up for, okay, here's a backstory for how they exist, and we'll play on that a little bit more. But yeah, super flexible, willing to break those rules as required, and it comes at a cost too, because we shall see. But it's not like, hey, you get this cool thing that.
How do you feel about that, Mark? Because I think Rafe is going to encounter all sorts of filthy looks and, strange being like the only tabaxi in the land, right?
So we have prepped for that. It's a good question, and it's one that came up fairly early on. Is to go, look, if we're not from here, you don't want to just. Every town that you walk into, you don't want to be either openly hostile to you, because that's not fun. So there are other tabaxis in the world, and as per cats in general, when they have a litter, it's a relatively big litter. So over 5 years, look, that there are tabaxis in the world, a large concentration of them where Rafe is from, but I'd say that's half the population, and then the other half have sort of struck out to make sense of what Trankasha holds. So it's likely that we will encounter some along the way. I think Robin's also indicated that there are some no-go zones where the rarity of the tabaxi makes it far more likely to be roped into the hunted for pelts, or roped into the slave trade. You're a trophy.
I wonder if it'd be cool if we one day go to Rafe's hometown or something, or his home area, and wear all the weird ones there, because it's just a land of tabaxis essentially.
Thankfully, not. I'm actually surprised at how when we finally laid it out on the map, I didn't realize how far where Rafe is from the Chili Weasel. So that caught me off guard a little bit. I've had to come up with a story of like how did I get from A to B through what would have been some dangerous territory, and explore that a little bit. But the idea is that where Rafe is from it's a training outpost where adventurers have been coming and going for years. So it became a point on the map because it is in a desolate area, but the frozen north is also rich for adventuring. So as a result, you get a lot of parties coming through and using that as a last petrol stop before the freeway kind of thing, or they've just been adventuring and they need a place to sort of lick their wounds a bit. So it's a hive of Trankashan activity, and it explains a little bit Rafe's backstory. He's learned how to become a fighter through sparring with parties that have come through, and he's gained bits of the kit through gambling there. And I needed that to sort of latch on to the how do you explain what you've been doing for the last 5 years and how does it shape the character. Quite a dense population of tabaxi there, and we will encounter some as we go.
Yeah, nice.
That makes sense, right? If the tabaxi airship you're on bamfed into Trankasha 5 years ago, then certainly there would be more than just yourself in that area.
Yeah.
I like it. How much ground did Harm cover in the last 5 years?
So I mean, he didn't travel a lot. His sort of A to B wasn't a big adventure. He just kind of made his way into the main town, the Arvanrath. Is it Arvanrath? Is that how we pronounce it? That we're in this main.
It is now.
Arvanrath. It is now. He's kind of, he's on this long-term path guided by Anubis, right? And his kind of initial thing to do was go and become more efficient. Go and learn how to be a better killer, essentially. Go and learn how to be a better tool to execute what Anubis wants him to do. So he kind of went somewhere and has just spent a number of years training, like hardcore training. And he's got a very particular, close range, touch you and take your life essence type of thing. So he hasn't done too much training, but he hasn't really left Arvanrath. So it's going to be interesting to see as, you know, the story plays out, how Anubis's story for him coincides with that. Because the backstory is kind of like Anubis has this long weaved plan. You know, he's a celestial. He can see what's going on in the future and has kind of weaved harm into that plan now. And so it's interesting to see as we kind of go out of Arvenrath how that's going to play out. Like, are people going to know harm somewhere that we arrive because Anubis has whispered to them or something like that? Or am I going to get somewhere and the first name we look up, the first name that we speak to in town is a name that I've got in my book. And, you know, everyone prepares to go do what they need to do, and I have to go off on a little mission to kill someone in the middle of the night or something. My concern is that could cause a lot of drama for us if we rock up somewhere and then I have to kill people before we leave. And, you know, what if they're a good person? You know, so yeah, I've left not too much in my backstory those last 5 years, other than preparing for what comes now, just to try and make it a really solid. Like, he was a generic dude just working in a temple, but now he's a dude who's a murderer. How did I get from A to B was more of a less of a physical journey and more of a mental journey.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like I'm back in year 12 talking about journeys for an English exam.
How are you gonna play if we rock up to a town and you find a name in your book? Like, are you and Robin agreeing on names beforehand that you are allowed to go and murder, or like how will you know? Do you think? And maybe this is a secret that you don't want to give away. When you're like, that name is on my list.
There's dice involved, and Robin and I are both consulting that list.
Okay. Right.
So I've been generating a lot of names using some D&D name generators, and yeah.
So maybe
inflatable.
Maybe
Okay.
the people in the chat could nominate a name for you to add to that list.
Oh yeah, would love it.
Maybe
Look, inflatable
that's
the way inflatable.
Oh, did someone write Finra? Tom? I know
What's
that
that druid's name? What's that druid's name? The way I'm playing inflatable is that he might be doing evil deeds, but he's doing them as an obedient person. Think of him a bit of like an attack dog, almost. He's an obedient dog, but he's doing evil things potentially. Izzy, I'm not sure it's not exactly Death Note. You can't just write down their name and have that happen. That's not how this works.
Someone's written Milkus. I'm sorry, it's a typo. It can't be done. Keen to look. It's part of the story that I'm keen to play out, right? Like, I've left a few things like this that I want Robin to sort of own in his world, right? It's his world. It's his celestial, and I'm not the boss of that celestial, so I'm not putting any restrictions on how that works. It's one of the cool things about going a full homebrew world. But you are obedient.
I am obedient. I wrote that at about 4 a.m. the night that I wrote it. I was having a beer at like 1, and the sort of backstory came to me, the beginning of it, and I started writing it. And by the time I kind of wrote that last paragraph, after re-editing it a few times, I kind of looked up and hours had passed. It was really cool. It was a lot of fun. I hadn't done creative writing like that in a long time, so yeah.
For those interested, Dave wrote like a 4-page backstory, which we've all had the pleasure of starting to read and understand this. But yeah, I certainly got chills with your last paragraph. My name is... I forget exactly what you said, but basically...
Come on, give it to us. Give us the last bit.
Yeah, give it one more time.
Give me a second. I've actually got the wiki entry open. I just started writing it out. All right, here we go. Ready. It says, "Do not mistake me for evil. I am not a madman, a torturer, nor the one who delights in the pain of others. I am obedient. I listen to the call of Anubis. Anubis is wise. Anubis is generous. Who am I to tell such a being no? I am reborn of Anubis. Carlos no more. You may call me Dr. Harmon Rab, or the name he has given me. Anubis simply calls me Harm. It is affectionate. It is appropriate. And you may also call me as such. It is a pleasure to meet you, and you all seem very nice. I dearly hope Anubis never whispers your name to me, for I am obedient.
Just the
That's
last bit at the
BAFTA
end is
for
just
writing right there.
it's just like well and good, but I can still knife you in the back whenever.
I mean, Death Domain clerics have an evilness to them, so yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And this idea that Rod and I both ended up on Death Domain clerics of all of the different things to do, I thought that was kind of cool. I really liked that hook in, and I had so much fun when we did the two soldier backgrounds. Yes, that was so much fun. So yeah, looking forward to it.
I think you and Rod will do this pairing justice. Like, it'll come across hilarious and also super creepy at the same time.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing where the story sort of takes us in the interim. I know we've got this lead for the fifth
circle.
Well, the fifth ring is
whatever.
the one it's tied to Flint's family, but we may not. I mean, we may end up going in order, right? There might be our rings come together and give us an image or a dream, or something happens while we're wearing them that tells us of the second. I'm not sure how he plans to play this, but we've already got one set of rings from the first ring, and there's 7. If we just go one by one by one, it's going to be a very short campaign.
Yeah.
So I feel like it's going to be the sort of thing where we're chasing down clues for a long period of time, and then Mr. Squiggle style, it turns upside down. It's really clear to us what it is. And we're like, can't believe it. Right.
Yeah, something tells me we've got a long ways until we get to the next ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, and look, I think the plan is to stop or make a few stops along the way, just sort of get into these characters, flesh them out a bit, flex their muscles.
We've got to coin up, get some
learn
items.
Mechanics.
Yeah.
See if anyone's mum's a dragon.
Show of hands.
Yes.
Not this time.
Hey, Super Dan, nice one to throw in the mix there. What if we're not the only ones after the rings? Good one. I like it.
Well, that's the thing about this world that Robin's created, right? There have been other adventuring parties that he's the M for that have gone through this same world and have affected it.
Yeah.
So, who knows? Maybe there's going to be another one that starts doing the same kind of thing and will have to take their heads off.
How good could it be doing some sort of massive battle royale of various clans that have been going through
Two parties.
this world? Yeah.
Did you hear that this is the kind of thing that's going to happen with the Jeff Goldblum campaign that they're going to do?
Wait,
Oh,
what?
really?
Yeah. He's going to be playing in a particular campaign.
Go quickly.
Oh, mate, catch up on the Facebooks. So they've got him stitched up to be an elf, something or other.
Okay.
I want to say sorcerer. Playing in a party, and there's another party, but they're competing against the same objective. So there will be a point at some point throughout the whole experience when they're going to have to kill each other. Now, I don't know if this is going to be like a 3-month thing or a 3-year thing. This is going to go on for.
Yeah.
But yeah, look out for it. I can't remember the name of the show that it's on, but he'll be on there.
Yeah, sorcerer.
Google
Okay.
of Jeff Goldblum D&D.
Could
See
you
where that
imagine
turns
it?
up.
He'll be hilarious doing
That'd
it
be
though.
awesome. Yeah.
I love that straight off the bat our party was completely suspicious of the second NPC thrown at us.
Oh yeah.
The dude in the
guide.
desert.
Who's
We heard him snoring at night. We almost killed him.
Elijah. He was basically the main lead for how to kick this main story off, and congratulations, I am the keeper of the first ring, and everyone's just like, ha, who are you?
Judo chop.
Yeah. Could have completely fucked with Robin's plans by basically cutting off our main tie and this is the rest of the story.
Yeah, I am very proud of us, Dan. We did not murder him.
It did come close, I think.
I'm pretty sure there was a druid who wanted to, though. Just saying. Pretty sure there was a druid in the party who wanted to murder him. It's crazy murder hobo like that.
We need to get more about... One sec. it's going to take us a little while to get out of the murder hobo vibe. I think a couple of sessions and so on to get into character and get out of, start talking to more characters rather than beheading more characters.
Yeah. Look, I'd like to see us maybe, maybe you make some sort of tinkery thing where we can bribe characters with like a patch of coins, and then after like a minute, the coins disappear, and it was just like a little mirage or something, right? That'd be cool. Something,
you've just given me a
little
illusion
illusion
idea.
or something.
You've given me a great idea.
Alternatively, for the murder hobo party, we do have 2 death domain clerics. You say,
well,
let's ask questions rather than behead. It's like, well, actually, we can do both. And the beheading
in any
comes
order.
first.
I'm just saying, if I ask the questions of Anubis and he whispers a name, then there might be some murder hovering.
Yeah, that's fine.
So,
Look, that's fine. If it's in character, I'm all for it.
You can do speak with dead, right? You just off comes the head. All right, fella, where do we need to go?
Yeah. I love it.
To the left.
I feel like we could end up with like one of those cat bags where it's got a little bubble in the back of the backpack, and just have like a little head suspended in there, just walking around with them.
I'm just sorry. I just got to quickly write down the idea I had for a particular potion.
All right. Sweet. While you're writing that down, I'd just say hey to Emily Grace in the chat. Got to catch us. It's hard to catch. Yeah, we're Pokemon. Got to catch them all. Catch us on recaps. Catch us on YouTube. Catch us on the podcast that's going to be going live very soon.
Ooh,
very
exciting.
Very soon. So that'll be a little bit of fun.
Catch us this time tomorrow, session 2.
Yeah. Join the dots if you missed it. You'll be able to hear about all the things we chat about tonight that happened in session 1, and then see how that plays out. So.
And if you can work out anything better than we did, then let us know. Because
yeah, where do we think that we're going to end up going next session? Because to your point earlier, Dave, that we got to a certain point in the whole map and everything in the whole battle fighting the what were they? Death dogs or something I want to call them.
Hellhounds,
and then it felt like we're just
we
like
avoided
boof, boof,
serious,
there, done.
Yeah, we avoided some serious issues there. Like if that Nat 20 had hit you, Mark, you were going to lose permanent health points. You were going to have like temporary health point removal. You were going to lose HP.
Yeah. So the other doggo got that and the full brunt of it.
Yeah.
And that's where, look, I'm going to have to learn to pace that thing out and just go, it might not get used every battle because it's waiting for the Nat 20 that hits someone that I can be like, no, you.
Yeah, that could be cool.
Yeah.
I reckon tomorrow we gotta kind of make sense of what's going on. I think we might be forging the crew tomorrow. I reckon, like we've suddenly gone from some guys earning some coin and getting away from, going to see, from my point of view, from Harm's point of view, he was just going to kind of follow along with the Tabaxi and see what goes on, earn a little bit of cash, and he's kind of anchored. He knows where he's got nothing really to do at the moment if he's not getting any particular missions from up on high. And suddenly we've all got these rings, and we've all been told about an adventuring party following to track them all down. It's suddenly like, hey, we need to discuss this. What's going on? Are we going to forge together? Are we going to hook up as a crew? Is there going to be all hands in, start yelling out ducks, quack, 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 right? Yeah, I'm keen to see how that plays out. I think that's going to be a defining factor of either this week or next week is kind of the crew coming together.
I wonder if
it's going to need a...
Yeah, sorry, Mark, go ahead.
I think it's going to need that central experience to really help forge that. So didn't have an identity before. Now we've got at least a common reason why maybe fate has brought us together, but I think it needs that next step that says, all right, how do we collectively approach that, and that's where I think we've just got to choose what the next step would be that really cements that we are a crew.
I mean, it could be interesting, something around the rings, what if one person takes them off? Do any of them depower? Are they connected in some way? Like, that sort of thing could help cement us, right? Yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting to see how that works now that we, like you said, we've got a kind of a driving force. There's something for us to kind of explore a little bit more.
That's what I was going to say before. Like, can we even take the rings off? Are they embedded on us now? They're removable. I guess we just don't know yet. But I think
are we going to start taking levels of corruption? Who knows, right?
And
is a certain deity going to get upset that I've got some magically attuned item on me?
I think the other thing we've got to work out is just the personalities. That we've at least got some unifying goals, but there's still 8 very distinct personalities.
Yes, there is.
And find how do we explore some of those? Like, I think there's going to be people in the party that are going to struggle with the idea of 2 Death Domain clerics because it's not necessarily aligned to their values. And how do we make that gel? Without instantly going straight for people's backstories and working those out. How do we sort of drip feed the relationship building side?
Well, you've got 24 hours to think about it, Mark, and I think that's going to be something we're seeing kick off very heavily tomorrow.
That we are. So we might wrap it up there then, lads, and we will kick it off again tomorrow night from 8:30 p.m. Maybe even a bit earlier. We'll catch us while we get our tech organised. But yeah, tomorrow from 8:30 p.m. Sydney time, we'll be raging and rolling and probably not checking for traps as we kick into session 2 of the Call of the Seven Rings. Thanks for Dave, Mark, for hanging out.
Mark.
Thanks everyone else on the chat for hanging out with us today.
How
been
great,
awesome.
great chat. Love it. Thanks, heaps, team.
See you lot tomorrow. Chat
and in case you want to get messages, do hit the subscribe button, do hit the follow button, and we've got our next giveaway coming at 250 followers, which is not that far away.
Not that far, and it's going to be amazing. The Van Richten guide. It's going to be amazing.
All right, legends.
All right, peace out. Talk to you tomorrow. Bye.